They are engaged in a three-way tug of war, Chinese, Russians, and Americans, for who are going to dominate the soil of Africa. Remember, whoever controls Africa rules the world because Africa has the largest deposits of non-renewable resources in the world. Gas, oil, gold, silver, manganese, coltan. Do you realize of the dozen or so minerals necessary to create an atomic bomb, half of them are in Africa? There is no nuclear age without Africa. There is no solar age without Africa. There is no technological age without Africa. China knows that. And see, the reason China wants to possess herself of Africa is number one, China is overpopulated. I've been there twice to speak to the Africans. China is overpopulated, bro. You think rush hour in New York is something? You think rush hour in DC? Go to China and sit in that rush hour. It's overpopulated. 2 billion people. They need somewhere to drop off the excess Chinese. Africa has undeveloped land all over the continent. It's the perfect place for China to send all of the people she needs to get rid of. Number two, China is the number one producer of cheap goods, cheap food, cheap clothes, cheap utensils, cheap devices, cheap soap, anything cheap, China makes it. They are the Walmart of the planet. China has a surplus of cheap goods. Where can I go and sell all these cheap goods that cost less than $1 so I can recoup all my money from the surplus I have? Africa. Most of the world lives off of less than $1 a day. The world. So America will never be able to sabotage China because America is king of capitalism, expensive goods. China is the king of communism, cheap goods. And so Africa is the perfect place for the Chinese to dump all their unsold cheap goods off. Also, where can you go to create a manufacturing sector where you can pay people pennies in order to work for you? Africa. Everything China needs, Africa has. And the last thing is the damn resources. China want that gold. China want them diamonds. China want that gas. China wants that oil. And I'm disappointed in our African leaders, not all of them, but some of them. And most recently, I spoke by the invitation of the Ethiopian government for African Liberation Day this past May. And my disappointment with some African leaders is we keep on playing pocket pool with these different neo-colonizers. Who's going to treat me the best? The Americans? Who's going to treat me the best? The Russians? Who's going to treat me the best? The Chinese? None of them are going to treat you well because they are all colonizers. Africa has no friends. The only thing Africa has is a lot of resources that other people don't want to pay for. And will kill to get. So right now we got a situation in the Sahel in Africa where you have Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, Guinea. These are all former French colonies, Francophone countries. They kicked the France out. There's been revolutions. And now we got what appears to be authentic black leadership in Africa. I hope they are sincere. I hope they are not FBI agents. I hope these coups are not a CIA stunt because we really need these brothers to keep good on their promise to revolutionize the political reality in Africa because our people are tired of being at the bottom. The richest people in the world, the first people in the world have no business being the poorest people in the world. And so I'm hoping these brothers are sincere because if they are, this is the much needed continental wide revolution that Africa so desperately needs to have.
If there's one thing that you need in South Africa, just like we need in America as a result of the enslavement of our African ancestors, you need a redistribution of South Africa's wealth. A redistribution of the wealth. No one was forced to pay back what they stole. There can't be justice until there is restitution. And y'all have to make sure that you fight for restitution, not equality. Now, some people would say, Dr. Umar, what's wrong with fighting for equality in South Africa? What's wrong with black South Africa having the same chances as white South Africa? What's wrong with black South Africa having the same chances as Chinese South Africa? What's wrong with black South Africa having the same chances as East Indian South Africa? I'll tell you why. Equality will bring you more inequality. And the reason equality will bring you more inequality is because the Chinese have more resources than you do. The Anglo-Saxon has more resources than you do. The Boer has more resources than you do. The Indian has more resources than you do. So if the government gives you the same amount of help that they give to white people remain in charge. If the government gives black people the same amount of help they give the Chinese and Indians, then Chinese and Indians will still do better than black people. Because if you keep it equal, if you keep things equal, you never account for the inequity that was already there before apartheid ended. So we're not fighting for equality in South Africa. We're fighting for equity in South Africa. What is the difference between equality and equity? Equality says everybody gets the same amount, no matter how rich you are or how poor you are. This is why equality doesn't work. You can't keep unequal groups at the same level. You want equity. Equity says if the white man has 250,000 rand more than the black man, I have to bring the black man up to the level of the white man. Then we can practice equality. So brothers and sisters, as you struggle, you make sure in parliament, in the streets, in the media, you let them know equity precedes equality. If equality precedes equity, there will always be inequality. And I want to say, as we fight and as we struggle, South Africa, you have to make sure that you keep abreast of the information, not only going on in your country, but around the world. If you're not reading an international newspaper every week, you're behind. If you're not reading a South African newspaper every other day, you are behind. Things are always changing, and you have to be on top of the most recent transformations. You must be intelligent. You must be knowledgeable. You must engage in critical analysis on a regular basis. And if you don't currently have a study group, most of you here are for the return of the land and the resources in South Africa. But some of you are not here for the people. You are here for your ego. You are here to see what you can get out the movement. You are here to see what you can siphon off of the struggle. Let us be honest. When we study the black freedom struggle in Africa, in America, the Caribbean, all throughout the world, we have to make sure we understand that there has always been a selfish impetus buried deep within the liberation struggle that has often undermined it and sabotaged it. You, brothers and sisters, have to declare war on the Boer that lives inside of you. Every South African has a white man inside of them. Every American African has a white man inside of them. Every Jamaican African, Haitian African, Brazilian African, Canadian African, because the whole African world has been victimized by white supremacy. So all of us on some level still has a cracker inside your consciousness. The question is, do you recognize it? The question is, do you control it? The question is, do you study yourself deep enough and long enough to recognize your political inconsistencies so you can control them and prevent them from sabotaging your movement? Malcolm X was murdered for ego. Thomas Sankara was murdered for ego. Samora Machel, Eduardo Mondlane were murdered for ego. Walter Rodney in Guyana was murdered for ego. There's even a strong chance Chris Hani was murdered for ego. If somebody does something better than you do, are you man or woman enough? Are you humble enough? Are you graceful enough to say, you know what? You do that better than me. And for the sake of the people, I want you to be in charge. The problem with us as African people, we so used to being told what to do by white people that when it's time to be told what to do by black people, we want to get rebellious. We don't like internal racial authority because we ain't used to it. The white man told us he's the only person we got to listen to. So when we're all around black folks, we want to act a fool. But we never act a fool around the Caucasian. I need you to recognize the self-hate within yourself and tear it out. Because if you don't kill the Caucasian in you, the Caucasian in you will kill the black liberation struggle. My brothers, your sisters are not your problem. My sisters, your brothers are not your problem. We got to stop this back and forth male and female nonsense. United we stand, divided we fall. God made the woman to need the man, and God made the man to need the woman. The masculine principle and the feminine principle in nature are equal. One is not better than the other. So we have to stop blaming each other for problems that racism gave to all of us.
Yeah, welcome back, family from Africa and across the oceans. And that was a very powerful message from Dr. Umar Johnson. This African American or a black American who is really fighting for the freedom and independence and of the black people across the Africa, across the diaspora. Because Dr. Umar always come out to teach people about the history of the Africa. His main agenda is to achieve the mission of uniting Africa, because Umar believes that this liberation and equality will not only come by people maybe coming out, like for those who are relocating from America going to Africa. This will not bring out this will not end up the discrimination and racism. But again, the Africans was to look up to as a great continent. But the white system has been always there to oppress Africa and make Africa to be seen as not something great. So that was the message from Dr. Umar. Many people who were coming out speak the truth about the African issue. They were murdered, they were assassinated. Patrice Lumumba, Malcolm X, they knew this. And because they came out boldly to speak about this, that's why their life were terminated. They were erased from the face of the world. Because the white system was created in a way that no black person was supposed to rise up to speak the truth and to awaken or influence his people. But the blacks were only made to believe in what they were being told, on how they are being treated, no matter how the way or the cruel they are being treated. But they were just the person who were trained to appreciate everything. So today, the voice of a black man is being pushed to be heard across the world, because the voice of the black man has been tried to be silenced for so long. But because it was made to be great, it was made to echo, it was made to be strong and to whisper in every ear. That's why you see, if despite being buried, being erased, being silenced many years ago, but today is still echoing, is still rising, awakening, and working through several people who are today coming out boldly, no matter what happens, but they deliver the message. They awaken Africa. They demand justice. They demand freedom. They demand African independence. There are many African leaders today who are just looking up to African problems, who are looking at the way how Africa is being oppressed, how it's being pulled down, and they're not saying anything. They're so silent over everything. But when you come out boldly and start to speak the truth, you are being called a revolution. You are being called just names. but you're not being called a leader who is fighting for his or her right. That's why you see all these great people who work, who speak the truth, they are not being recognized by the world leaders, because they are being seen as a threat. They are making Africans to know, to come to the light, to know the truth that was banned from the world to know. But because these are the generation, or these are the people who are, I can say that they are the chosen one, that the people who are made to be great. That's why you see, despite being oppressed, being enslaved, being colonized, they're still coming out and showing their strength. The blacks are still coming out and show the strength. And this is the time that we are not coming out to beg for freedom, for equality, for justice. But this is the time that Africans and the black people are coming out. They are going to take and act, but not begging and asking. Because even those people or leaders who tried to beg, they never ended up well. Because even for the things that they were begging for, they never given all that they were requesting, but they ended up just being used and destroyed. And that's why you see today's generation is a totally different generation, whereby we are standing up, we fight, we reclaim what belongs to us. South Africa is a great country that needs the great leader who will fight for the interest of the people of South Africa. South Africa is an African country, but being led by or being controlled by the majority of the white people, because the whites believe that the South Africa belongs to them, and they are still believe that the black people in South Africa are supposed to be taken as minority, because the whites are the one who controls the economy, control the high percentage of the economy of the country. That's why you see whenever something happens in South Africa towards the white, Donald Trump comes out. He acts. He threatens. But South Africa needs great people, the true leaders, like Julius Malema, because once you are not able to speak the truth, then you cannot handle or hold these great countries like South Africa. So Umar Johnson is an African American, but he's so focused on African matters and affairs because he believes that when Africa liberates, when Africa unites, then even the African diasporans will benefit from it. The African American will be coming knowing that they are going in a place that is so safer to them. A continent that is so peaceful to them, a country that is so liberated, and it's having the best governance that will hold or hold everyone and deliver to the people. That's why you see many African Americans are so concerned about the African issues, not because they don't have something to do, but because they are so concerned that they believe that that is where they belong. So they have to fight for it. They have to fight for motherland, because despite being in America, they still feel everything that's happening in Africa. That's why today they're coming boldly. They tell Trump and his regime to hand off Africa. So in this, I will not take much of your time, because I hope that you've heard the full speech of Dr. Umar, of Julius Malema, of Dr. Rikana, and all that they're saying is to fight for equality of the black man. The black man need to be treated equality. We need equality. We are not in a point of begging. We are not in a point of waiting for the approvals for us to make our decisions that we believe is going to build our future, our countries, and our generation. No. But we are in a position of today waking up in the morning and taking what we believe it belongs to us, no matter who or who have it. Everything thing that was taken out of Africa. This is the time. This is the awaited time that the world have to pay attention towards African continent. I'll end there telling you, consider subscribing, sharing. If you're new here, don't forget to come back, because we are here each and every time, spreading and preaching positivity towards African continent. We are here to achieve the agenda of the great people, the great Pan-Africanists, whom their spirits are still have not yet rested in peace, because Africa is not yet liberated, is not yet united. And that was the agenda that made their life to be ruined. So we are here to fight for all these agendas and make sure that Africa is great again. Until next time, let's meet on the comment section and the next episode as we do more concerning the motherland, Africa. Until next time, and maybe may you be blessed ranging from. I love and appreciate your support for you being here each and every time from Africa and across the globe. This is the Kenyan Explorer, and may you be blessed. Welcome back.